As a veteran, it pains me beyond belief to create a video titled "How the U.S. Government Poisoned Its Soldiers." But it is a fact. I know it because I saw it with my own eyes. Following the 9/11 terror attacks, the U.S. launched wars in both Afghanistan and Iraq. With the U.S. soldiers came their trash. The decision was made by U.S. Military Central Command, or CENTCOM, that the best way to deal with the vast amounts of garbage that the U.S. forces are generating in Iraq and Afghanistan was to use open-air burn pits. The Pentagon quickly approved their use. By May of 2003, there were over 25 burn pits. Most were operating 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The rule-obsessed U.S. military did not create any regulations for constructing or managing these burn pits, and there was no emissions test done to monitor the pollutants being released into the atmosphere. Balad Air Base in Iraq, which is where I was stationed, had a 10-acre burn pit. Roughly 147 tons of trash was burned there per day. I myself worked primarily at a vehicle search area near the base burn pit. Within a couple of days of being on base and breathing in the pit's polluted air, I developed a respiratory infection that did not clear up until I left the base. Some of the items burned at these burn pits include lithium-ion batteries, plastic chemical drums, tires, jet fuel which was used to start and keep the fire going, oil, lubricant products, rubber, tar paper, asphalt shingles, treated wool, pesticides and pesticide containers, asbestos, styrofoam, chemically treated uniforms, coated electrical wires, plastic, aerosol cans, gas cylinders, fuel cans, explosives, electrical equipment, and medical waste, paint thinners, paint strippers, animal bodies, and human body parts. The body parts I know well, because it was obvious on base when they were burning amputated body parts. The sickly smell of barbecue would drift all over the base. The burning of this type of waste released numerous pollutants, including carbon monoxide and dioxide, the same chemical compound found in Agent Orange. After a shift at the vehicle search, I would need to wash my uniform because it would turn black due to the burn pit smoke. I also breathed in the polluted air when I slept, because the smoke hung over our barracks area. The burn pits themselves did not discriminate who they poisoned. The Iraqi villages in Hawaza that have the highest rates of cancers and birth defects in the country are the ones that happen to be immediately downwind of a U.S. Army forward operating base called FOB McHenry, where a large burn pit sent toxic clouds into the air from 2003 to 2010. Some of the symptoms and illnesses of burn pit exposure are leukemia, asthma, autoimmune system conditions, back cancer, bacillus carcinoma, bleeding stomach lining, blood clots, brain tumors, breast cancer, bronchitis, chest infections, chronic myeloid leukemia, cold-like symptoms, COPD, colon cancer, fatigue, GI distress, high blood pressure, and lung cancer. What angers me the most about this whole sad affair is the fact that the U.S. government not only poisoned us, who were fighting for our nation, they willfully hid the dangers of the burn pits from service members and even other government officials. This, to me, is unforgivable. While I was still at Balad, Lieutenant Colonel Darren L. Curtis, a bioenvironmental engineer commander, wrote a memorandum. In it, he expressed his shock at the toxic conditions he found on base. He described the burn pits as the worst environmental site I have personally visited. He goes on to state, in my professional opinion, there is an acute health hazard for individuals. There is also the possibility for chronic health hazards associated with the smoke. The memorandum is also endorsed by Lieutenant Colonel James R. Elliott, who states, I concur with Lieutenant Colonel Curtis' risk assessment. In my professional opinion, the known carcinogens and respiratory sensitizers released into the atmosphere by the burn pit presents both an acute and chronic health hazard to our troops and the local population. This memo is dated December 20th, 2006. Now, over a decade later, the VA and DoD still spin the fiction that there is no known connection between the thousands of sick veterans and the toxic burn pits that the Department of Defense callously continue to use even after 2 Air Force colonels told them just how dangerous they are to not only the U.S. soldiers and contractors, but to the Iraqi population as a whole. This memorandum tells us what our government knew about the burn pits and when they knew it. The American government willfully and knowingly poisoned me and my brothers and sisters in arms. I have given up any hope of the VA being reformed. President Obama never took any interest in helping veterans and remained completely silent on this issue for the entire duration of his presidency. The uproar about the vets dying while on VA appointment wait lists only elicited politically mandated posturing from the Obama White House. He fired the VA Secretary, Shinseki, which changed nothing. The administrators responsible for the scandal were suspended. Then once the controversy died down, the VA reinstated the same incompetent administrators. The only hope we have is that President Trump will keep his campaign promise and help us veterans. And this is the issue we need help with. This needs to be at the top of his list. Please share this video. It is important that folks understand the dire situation our nation's best find themselves in due to our government's gross negligence. I will continue to report on this issue until the government does the right thing and takes care of those who fought for this nation. Thank you.
Please subscribe to our channel, PH News. Our motto is fact-based media.